Yesterday, right as I started streaming, we got the news that Josh Jacobs had been charged with misdemeanors, 2 misdemeanors. It was a lower charge than what we were expecting for Josh Jacobs. And then a little bit later, we got the news, or maybe we got it all at once, but I heard later that there was also video of the evidence, which was not in the initial report that I saw. So different ways to interpret the news of Josh Jacobs being charged, but only being charged with a misdemeanor, but then also there being video of the evidence. And then it came out later, some lawyers interpreting it differently. That maybe there was not actually video of the evidence. There was video corroborating the victim's testimony of what happened in the story. So not actual video of the evidence. So really there's a lot up in the air with Josh Jacobs right now. I don't really know exactly how to react to it. I gave the opinion yesterday that I thought people were generally overreacting. I saw somebody in chat saying they took Marshawn Lloyd at 84 overall. I think we saw it in one of the drafts on the stream yesterday. Marshawn Lloyd going at 84 overall. Now we have about a day's worth of seeing what people are doing with this news. And honestly, I've seen all over the place. I think that's the highest that I've seen Marshawn Lloyd go in one of my drafts. I've seen Josh Jacobs fall I've gotten him in the 5-6 turn. I haven't seen him fall any lower than that. I'm curious if any of you have seen Josh Jacobs fall beyond the 6th round, because that's the latest I've seen him go. I've seen, like I said, Marshawn Lloyd go at I think that's a 7-8 turn, 8-9 turn. No, 7-8. 7-8 turn. But kind of all over the place. And I've seen also Marshawn Lloyd go at like pick 140 since the news came out. So we're all over the place with what we're doing with Josh Jacobs, with Marshawn Lloyd. For the sake of my bags, I've got a lot more Josh Jacobs than I have of Marshawn Lloyd. As you can see here, I've got 11% of my fees across all my drafts on Josh Jacobs. Marshawn Lloyd, I'm a little bit light, which is really sad for me because in May, I believe I was touting Marshawn Lloyd as one of my favorite late round clicks. But then there kept on being reports of, well, if anything were to happen with Josh Jacobs, if he does get suspended, there's all these other running backs who could be available. Maybe the Packers will sign, James Conner or Trey Benson if one of them gets cut. All these rumors of other backs potentially going to Green Bay. It didn't sound like they were really believing in Marshawn Lloyd at the time. So I kind of got cold feet after initially being all in, and now I'm ended up with under 7% fees, under 7% exposure. Not loving it. Not loving my lack of Marshawn Lloyd here. I will say the Sidekick, Legendary Upside Sidekick, highly recommend it. It's what I use on DraftKings and Underdog. They've been steaming up Marshawn Lloyd. I've gotten several Marshawn Lloyd recommendations. As soon as you get past like pick 100 or so, you start seeing Marshawn Lloyd being one of the recommendations. So I'm trying to load those bags right now just in case something does happen where Marshawn Lloyd starts going a little bit earlier. I will say Marshawn Lloyd, I think, is kind of a fine pick here regardless. Like, obviously you wouldn't want him, in the top 10 rounds if you knew for sure Josh Jacobs is not going to be suspended at all this year, because that's not where he was going. Based on that's kind of we didn't know it was going to happen, and he was going much later. Now we think maybe there's slightly better odds that there's going to be suspension for Josh Jacobs, and we're seeing Marshawn Lloyd go a lot earlier. But there are some more rumors that also he could have some standalone value anyway. He might be, the Packers might want to involve him in the offense regardless of Josh Jacobs' status, which, coming in 2 years ago, that was the expectation, that it was going to be a 1A, 1B kind of committee with Josh Jacobs and Marshawn Lloyd. Marshawn Lloyd has not been healthy really for any stretch of time since then. So it's been a ton of Josh Jacobs with not the best running backs behind him. So we could have Marshawn Lloyd, with a standalone role regardless of Josh Jacobs' status. So I am trying to buy the new price on Marshawn Lloyd as long as he's going. I'm not buying him in the top 100, but if he does get to the 9-10 turn, I'm pretty interested in Marshawn Lloyd at that point. Similarly, also interested in Mike Washington, with the Ashton Genty injury kind of still up in the air. We don't know. They're saying they could really use him for week 1, but coaches not super confident that he's going to be ready for week 1. Mike Washington also might have a standalone role. So I am buying these running backs at the more expensive price tags now. Hate to see it. Was underweight on both of them, but we're going to try. We're going to try to load our bags. What's up, David? Yeah, Who says, give me all the Jacobs around. I'm also doing that. So it's kind of I don't know if it's going to be one or the other, because I think there are scenarios in drafts where would be willing to draft both of them, like take Jacobs in round 6, also take Marshawn Lloyd in round 9, maybe round 10 is probably where I'm targeting him. I think I might be willing to do that, but yeah, I'm kind of just being price sensitive with both of these running backs right now. With all that said, let's get into some drafts. I'm thinking let's start with, I think I might do one of each, Underdog, DraftKings, and Drafters on this stream, but I'll also kind of let you guys tell me what you want to do. But part of the reason I'm thinking about doing one of each is I do really like this new contest that Underdog came out, the Frenchie Friday contest, rake free. That's always appealing to me. Drafters also does have another deal going on. We're going to start with the Drafters main event, which is not what the deal is about, but that's what we're going to do. So 5 more for a Drafters main event. By the way, a reminder that you can use promo code PlayerQ to get your first deposit matched on Drafters 100% up to $100. And let me see if my Nightbot is working. I added a Nightbot to the chat, and we'll see if it does anything. Did it. There we go. You can see it in the chat. Use promo code PlayerQ, get your first deposit matched up to $100. There's also just a link there if that's easier for you to click. But anyway, we're going to be doing a main event here because I have my ranking set for the main event. But there is also a new offer on Drafters for the survival contest, which I do think is very cool. Survival contest is similar to, actually, let's just look at it right now. While this is filling, we'll click on the survival and read off what's included here. So first place, $50,000 and an engraved ring. Second place, $20,000, et cetera, et cetera. But it's similar to the Eliminator on Underdog, except for you're not competing against a new pod each week. You're not being placed against one opponent. It is a cut line each week. You just have to be above the minimum cut line. So week 1, you need to be in the top 21,000. Like this says, approximately the top 21,000 entrants. Week 2, top 75%. Week 3, and so on and so on. So the field is going to get better and better. The teams that last are obviously going to be the teams that put up a lot of points. So it is going to be tough, but you don't have to worry about pod luck in the survival contest. And right now there is a draft 5, get 1 free in the survival contest for the weekend. So, use promo code PlayerQ, get your first deposit matched up to $100, then do 5 of these survival contests. You'll get a 6th one for free. A lot of value playing on Drafters right now. The only reason I'm not going to do survival right now, actually, I could. I'm kind of interested in testing it out, but I've got my rankings for the main event. So that is the one that I just signed up for, which, by the way, you can also find my rankings for free, and I'll put those in YouTube chat as well. There you go. If you're interested in my main event rankings, they are now in YouTube chat also. Who says got mid 6th round Jacobs? The best I've done is the 5-6 turn. So that's the latest I've heard on Jacobs. Can anybody beat that mid 6th round? Yeah, David says they may just cut into one another so much that they're both bad picks at current price. I don't know. I think that it's going to be a good offense. They're going to be able to move the ball, I think, at least a above average offense. So I think at the very least, if Lloyd is cutting into Jacobs enough that Jacobs is a bad pick, then I think Lloyd is probably a good pick. It would have to be a really thin line for both to be bad picks, I think. Both could be, mediocre picks, but for both to be bad picks, I don't know. That'd be tough. Obviously without an injury or multiple injuries, but yeah, that might be tough. Same team got Jaden. DK drafters really do hate Jaden Daniels. I don't get it. I'm taking so much Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts on DraftKings. They just go so late. I'm not understanding why drafters are so opposed to them. But that's kind of across the board, honestly. Just a little bit cheaper than they should be. All right, we need 3 more for a drafters main event. Hopefully you signed up and you're just doing a survival, and that's why you're not joining. I could also do a survival. Like I said, I don't have ranks for it, but I still would be happy to do a survival contest because, you don't necessarily need ranks for it. There's a lot of game theory involved. I think it should be a fun contest. We're at 87,000 out of 112,000 for the main. So we're looking at 25,000 more entries in the main event on drafters. So I don't know. We might actually be on pace to fill this thing. It might not be overlay at this point. I'm not really sure what time the contest started. Whoam says he got Jaden at 96 on DraftKings. That is really wild. 96 for Jaden Daniels. I think he's an awesome value at 72. You got him a full turn after that. Insane. I know he got hurt last year, and he, has the body type of a quarterback that you'd expect to get hurt if he runs a lot. But if he doesn't get hurt, he's just going to crush that value. Yeah, give me all the Jaden Daniels at 72, and then 96. I mean, I would, even if I had two quarterbacks already, I'd probably just bite the bullet and take Jaden Daniels at 96. I have not seen that. Are you guys slow drafters in the audience? In chat, are you slow drafters? Because I was going to tweet this out. I don't think fast drafters will ever feel the same joy that you get as a slow drafter checking in on a draft and Marshawn Lloyd is still there, like at a reasonable ADP. Like I had several times yesterday. I click on a slow draft. I'm at pick 140 and Marshawn Lloyd is there, right where, right around the ADP that he had prior to the Jacobs news yesterday. Just a beautiful thing. You get news, you get a player, you just start taking that player every draft. That is the beauty of slow drafts. All right, we're at pick 5 here. I am the Kai in here. He's bum hunting. I am the Kai. He's in all my drafts. Banger. Do I know any of you other names? Chris, I feel like, has been auto drafting in a lot of drafts I've been in. Or somebody told me he was auto drafting. I don't know. Don't know if he's always auto drafting. Anybody else in this draft? What's up, Coach? Good to see you. I am the Kai. Oh, appreciate it. No way. You're in all my drafts. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Tim says, I got burned by Lloyd in the past. I can't bring myself to click on him for some reason. I mean, I think you just said the reason. And I get it. I have also been burned by Lloyd. He was one of my highest drafted players 2 years ago before he got hurt. And then I drafted a lot. Not as much, but I was, I think, over 8% last year, and he was not always drafted. So I get it. I have also been burned by Lloyd before. I'm hopeful, though. He went to the physician. I don't even know, some type of doctor who examined his body movement to try to figure out what might be happening. I appreciate that he's taking the steps to try and figure out why have I gotten hurt back-to-back years. All right, we'll go JSN at 5. Kai snipes Whohames too. Whohames, nobody believes that you're a bum. Just a lie. Trying to bait people. That's funny. I am the guy says, true, I draft off who's Q. It's easier than starring them myself. Very funny. The funny thing about using the sidekick is it does sometimes feel like there are certain drafters who, if you stream with the sidekick, they'll see who the sidekick is recommending for you. And even if it doesn't make sense for their team, they'll take the top on the sidekick. That is true. Whohames, this is, in case anybody has not seen, Whohames and I are both participating in a new fantasy football league this year called the Iron Throne with a bunch of fantasy football content creators. And Whohames did spend $71 on, so we had the opportunity to bid, and we were given $150 fab, and then you could bid your fab on who gets to choose their draft pick. So, for example, Whohames had the highest bid, tied for the highest bid of $71. So those two at $71, it then had to be randomized to decide who got the first not for the first pick, but to decide the draft pick. And unfortunately for Huhames, he lost the random draw to Candyman. Candyman took the 101. Huhames shocked all of us by taking pick 13, which I'm not even saying it's a bad pick, but I think you could have spent a lot less money and still gotten pick 13, Huhames. But I know you do well with the team you drafted. We had that draft already. I bid $16. There is a video on that Iron Throne YouTube. I retweeted it today if you want to check it out. All right, we're gonna go Genty. But there's a video that explains, kind of our reasoning, which picks everybody got, a lot of our trash talk. I ended up bidding $16. I thought about bidding a full 150 because I do think Jahmyr Gibbs is that big of a difference maker. But I didn't, because I thought about it more and realized in a 14-person league, it gets real thin at that end. So I decided I didn't really care where I was drafting. Ended up with the 7 pick. See, I'm not saying that it was a bad idea to pick draft spot 13. I do agree with the creator of the league, and I'm blanking on his name right now. I know it, but I'm blanking on the name of the creator of the league, that you could have spent a lot less money and still gotten pick 13, because I don't think anybody else is really clamoring for it. But if you take issue with Huhames' decision there to pick slot 13, I bet you would also take issue with my decision to take the Rams defense as the first defense off the board, and then pretty early in the draft. We just reached a tier where it was like, man, it's super flat with the wide receivers and running backs available. And I explained my logic on a stream a couple days ago, because I did the same thing in another league I'm in. I'm counting on the Rams defense being a separator this year. I think that they will be. I think that they're just going to absolutely dominate. I'm kind of assuming that Aaron Donald is going to join the Rams defense. Also, I need to shout out DeAndre Swift just went at pick 26 in this draft, so that's an interesting one. Getting some unique combos at the front of the draft, and there we go. Drake London at pick 29. Yeah, I'll take that. JSN, G&T, Drake London is a start for me. The only bummer here is that maybe there are people in this contest who have it because G&T for a little while was falling so much, but probably not many. I don't think there are that many drafts in the window where G&T was falling. But yeah, super rare. Definitely JSN has been paired with Drake London plenty of times in this contest, but getting G&T in there as well feels pretty good. What do you guys think? Am I an idiot for spending up to get the Rams defense? I mean, spending up as far as draft pick goes. Because it's one of those things that I've always been a don't even draft kicker or defense guy, because I think you can stream it pretty easily. This year, I've just decided that there gets to a point in the draft where the tiers are so flat that I just don't care enough about other positions. And I think that there is, one S tier defense, and that's the Rams. But we can't even really be sure that Aaron Donald is going to sign. And if he doesn't, then suddenly they're looking more like A tier, or, at that point, maybe it's just a larger S tier if they don't have Aaron Donald. All right. Huhames likes the strategy. Appreciate that. I think it's smart because it means you don't have to stream versus 12 others trying to do the same. So over time, you'll end up with the most fab. That could be true. I think the Seattle defense will probably do the same thing. They'll just play Seattle every week. Both of our 3-man starts are unique in the main. Yours is strong as fuck, though. What do you have? Gibbs, Flowers. Is that Javonte? Yeah. Gibbs, Flowers. I mean, that's definitely going to be unique. It's one that if somebody wanted to replicate it, they will be able to, because usually you're going to be able to get Flowers and Javonte there. Whereas mine obviously is one that you get this by luck, by not, no real strategy involved to get major fallers. Good. We've got the right ranks in here. T-Mac falls to 44, which I believe I got T-Mac at like 54 this week, a couple days ago. So he's been falling. People are not really in on T-Mac, which as somebody who does not have huge T-Mac bags, it feels good to be able to get him as he's falling. Actually, let me see what those are. Yeah, I've got, oh, it looks like okay, so I've got him in some higher stake stuff because I've got nearly 9% fees with just 5% exposure. So I guess I do have at least some high stakes T-Mac. Parker Washington, I talked about yesterday about how I'm kind of struggling with the price there in the sense that I don't feel that strongly about it one way or another. Like I think feels like small hit, small miss. But then I also heard my guy Debro referring to him as similar to Amon-Ra St. Brown. I kind of think that the comparison to Amon-Ra St. Brown is maybe people are overly optimistic sometimes with this guy could be Amon-Ra St. Brown, that guy could be Amon-Ra St. Brown. People always love, we're doing the same thing with Luther Burden. People love the Amon-Ra St. Brown comparison. Usually doesn't work out, but still, I guess that would, there's at least the potential. Liam Cohen slot. All right, we'll go Scatterboot here. Pretty valuable to be the slot in a Liam Cohen offense. At the same time, I think it's just a lot of mouths to feed in Jacksonville. Oh, you took Houston. Okay. So you're also doing the just ride with your defense thing. Jags, were you overall? You don't think they're going to be that good of an offense or like two split? What's your concern with Jacksonville? Let me turn on a little music. Real soft. There we go. Coach says, just crazy. BTJ, big draft capital, traded for Myers and gave him a decent contract, drafted Travis Hunter, and a year later, P. Wash is a clear number one. Yeah, it is honestly insane. Which is part of what I struggle with. Like, is it, are we sure? Is it real? I just saw a quote from Trevor Lawrence today that was something along the lines of he's really taken ownership of it since he got it. And it was kind of a question, what do you mean by that? What is it? And it might be like the lead receiver. Just nuts with all the other talent they have there. O-line not great. Trevor limited. Coordinators have 1 year of Cohen to study. And we draft. Yeah, we do draft a lot of Jaguars. That is true. Some of them are going to be big misses probably. All right, this is my quarterback range. But I don't have... Sometimes I do Drake May even without AJ Brown. I'm gonna go BTJ here. You should have spike weeks, right? That's what we're telling ourselves. I was ready for a little while. I was pretty in on BTJ. And now I'm kind of neutral, I guess. Maybe even slightly below market. Yeah, Bretton Strange in that offense. Well, Williams, if you think that they're all small hits, then so you mean like their upside is small hits, small hit, big miss, or what would be your, like? Do you view them all as small hit, small miss, or explain what you meant? Because you just said you're concerned, and now you're saying that they're all small hits. Small hit, big miss. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Except for one. There is one that is Small miss, big hit. But I'm not going to say the name because it just infuriates people when I tell you about them. But there is one. QJ at 73. Is the price going up on QJ after that big play yesterday? Yeah, Tanner Koziel. Exactly. All right, Jaden Higgins. Just free. Free every draft. I'm buying. We're at Jaden Daniels, Ashton Genty, Cam Scadaboo, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Drake London, T-Mac, and BTJ. Pretty strong. Pretty strong. It's not like this is definitely not a list of my guys. I guess Daniels is to some extent. Genty, I'd say late second, early third. I would call him my guy. I was pretty neutral prior to the injury. Scadaboo, I have pretty low in my ranks. I got him here past ADP, so he's not somebody I've been heavily targeting. But I'm fine with him in the 5th round. JSN, my 5th. You just take him when he falls to the 5th. I'm never really that excited about JSN. I don't know if do other people feel the same? It kind of feels like that's a universal thing where it's like, yeah, I guess I'll take him, but we all are kind of expecting some kind of regression there. Drake London, certainly not a my guy, but he's a my guy at pick 29. Same thing with T-Mac, same thing with BTJ. So this is certainly not like getting my guys team, but it's I'm just getting good values. Oh, I see. That is true. You're low. I got to be honest with you. I forgot that you're in the one hole. I'm the guy. I didn't even remember that I was talking to the actual drafter, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does move up. You pull him up to pair with Rashee Rice. I mean, I don't have to do that on drafters, but Liam loves him. Interesting. That doesn't shock me. Liam often has, takes that differ from the sidekick. Oh, and survival, yeah. But in this contest, week 17, I mean, there's, a correlation there, but you get the same thing for every other week. Stribling goes. There we go. He was the cover of the show today. All right, Wandale goes. I think this is where first of all, I could go T-Law. Huh. Do I want T-Law or Diggs? It's tough because I do have Daniels. My other quarterback options are kind of gross, though. I'm going T-Law. So we've got one completed stack, one open stack that we may or may not complete. Quarterbacks do kind of fall sometimes on drafters. I guess kind of all sites right now. Lately, I feel like it's been, maybe it's also true of all players, but just like a wider band. I think I got Dak at 96 on a team that I had George Pickens yesterday. I'll take that. So what is the answer to the title of this stream? Were the 49ers right all along to reach for DeJon Stribling at pick 33? What do you think? Is he that dude? Is he that dude for fantasy because he's just going to get playing time with all of his teammates hurt? That's kind of where I'm at, I think. All right, double running back for I Am the Kai. Ooh, I almost thought Diggs was going to make it back to me. A lot of receivers I like here. Yeah, I'm a little bit light on Matthew Golden. He does have the same bye week as London and JSN, which I don't love. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm not like 100% sold on Golden. It seems like he is kind of in right now. Kind of feels like everybody's talking about him. Some touts are really in on Golden right now. I think Davis is in that camp. I want to say Gretsch is in that camp. Maybe Jacob. I'm trying to remember who I've heard talking about Golden, but I've also seen people talking about him on Twitter a fair amount. Does he think they could have gotten DeJon Stribling a full round later? I do think that's probably true. Puham's also starting to lean in on Golden. I mean, at this point, I'm probably going to end up underweight just because he goes in that range of like, I want a quarterback, or there's running backs I like there. So I'll probably end up underweight, but I see the bull case. I do see the bull case. Yeah, if he does start week 1, I mean, second round rookie starting week 1. Kind of depends on how he does too, of course. Yeah, I'm pretty out on Cortland Sutton. That's one of those that, might feel really dumb at some point if he just keeps doing what he's been doing, but it feels like he's like the team isn't as sold on him as fantasy players are. And now Waddle's there. Pat Bryant looked like he was starting to take a leap last year before he got hurt. The team was believing in Pat Bryant in the playoff game. I don't know. It's hard for me to click Sutton when I think it's pretty close about who's going to end up as a wide receiver 2 in Denver between him and Pat Bryant, who goes in the 160s. And that's like after a big rise for Pat Bryant. So I've struggled to click Sutton all season, basically. Run on quarterbacks. You love to see that when you take Jaden Daniels at 77, Trevor Lawrence at 92. Makes you feel better about those decisions. Because if, Mahomes was still available at 116, I wouldn't feel that great about that. Which I have seen on drafters. I really hope you're wrong about this. Well, I guess I'm fine with Sutton not being the guy, but all right, Chuba Hubbard goes a pick before me. I was hoping for Chuba, but I think I'm going to bite the bullet and go Marshawn Lloyd. So they only have 2 running backs. So I think that's where you got to pull them up a little bit. Alec Pierce at 117 in this one. I'm kind of tracking where Pierce is going in drafts after news that he's, practicing now. Curious if he rises back up closer to pick 100 or if he kind of stays in the 110 somewhere, which is kind of what I expect. I think he was a little bit too expensive before. Now he's priced more appropriately. David says the fact that they didn't want to wait on Stribling is my bull case. They wanted to replace Jennings blocking. Turns out he has chemistry with Purdy and Shanny's system, and Pearsall got hurt again. Yeah, I mean, things are working out, and Evans has been dealing with some injuries. McCaffrey's dealing with some injuries. Yeah, like he could just have an opening to be awesome this year. Mike Washington, kind of interesting because he was flying up boards, and then we got the news of the ankle injury, like it's just a sprain for Ashton Genty, and suddenly Mike Washington was like falling back to pick, in the late 130s, early 140s for a while. Now finally he's moving up again. which I hate to see. I was kind of hoping to load my Mike Washington bags while he was still reasonably priced. All right, I think we're going to go C-Rod. Yeah, we'll go C-Rod. Team is now Jaden Daniels, Trevor Lawrence at quarterback, Ashton Genty, Cam Scadaboo, Marshawn Lloyd, Chris Rodriguez at running back, JSN, Drake London, T-Mac, BTJ, Golden at wide receiver. I mean, so David says, just couldn't be more obvious. Ironically, I'm out because I have a lot of Strib in the 160s to 180s. Why does that mean you're out? Like, if you think that he's priced appropriately now or priced well now, no reason you can't continue to load those bags and just be super in this year. I mean, I get it. You want to play the price game, and if you think that he's a little bit too expensive now, then that's fair. Keenan, I feel like Keenan's been kind of all over the place. It looked like he was just going to keep climbing steadily, and I feel like he kind of tapered. Now he's, goes in the late 150s often. He's no longer like the shiny new toy. So you can get Keenan as a faller sometimes now. There are certain, time periods, like yesterday, I was thinking about it. I was like, man, I really want to get in some drafts and load my bags on Marshawn Lloyd before the price goes up. And then I thought about it a minute more, and I was like, no, this is like the worst time. If you want to take Marshawn Lloyd, now is when everybody's getting in drafts thinking, I want to get Marshawn Lloyd. So it's kind of a funny thing where we all have the same thought at the same time. All right. Do I grab the missile here? I think I do. I do have JSN, so I could go Darnold. I'm gonna grab Keaton Mitchell though. 140, nice price. I was also tempted to push it there, in part because I'm sort of intrigued by Jonah Coleman right now. I don't have a lot of Jonah Coleman, and I feel like I wanna pack my bags just a little bit more. Price has already come up pretty significantly, so it's too late to get the best price on Jonah Coleman, but I think there could be meat left on that bone still, potentially. Who says, I think Pearsall injury makes the Stribling thing look good when it probably wasn't, but if they had inside info, I get it. Oh, you're done drafting, I see. Nice. Yeah, things went well for you, it sounds like, David. I mean, who I got to say, I was drafting a lot of Stribling when he was going later. It felt fine to me, but it was not something that I was like really excited about. It was more like in drafts where players that I was excited about were no longer available, then I'd say, sure, I'll take a shot on the 33 overall pick rookie. But obviously, even still, was very fortunate with the run out for Stribling. In the same way, I think Mike Washington was honestly not that amazing of a pick. I think he was not going to be involved in the offense. Not a great profile overall. Man, Jonah Coleman is still here. Sam Darnold's still here also. We've got pretty good quarterbacks, though. I think I could do Coleman and be done. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do Coleman. So now we got 6 running backs, 2 quarterbacks, 5 receivers, 0 tight ends. You needed to miss less than 1 week. That's a lot of Genty. See how much Stribling I have. 14% Stribling, 11% by fees, though. But I have not been getting a ton recently at the new prices. Let's see, on DraftKings, I have 16%, a lot of ADP. value on Stribling. Underdog, a lot of ADP value on Stribling. Drafters, not a lot of Stribling. That's one of those, like, people are victory lapping and like, okay, like, not like you did something that was really smart. You just got super lucky. Got to recognize sometimes you just get lucky. I guess that, like, maybe he did look better to some people because they thought that Stribling, like, there was some indication that Pearsall maybe was dealing with some kind of injury. That was not my thought processes. I thought Pearsall was totally fine. I was not like banking on Pearsall missing time. So in my case, at least, I'll say I got pretty lucky with that. I think that's true for most of us. Oh, the Niners. Okay. You think the Pearsall injury makes the Stribling thing look good for the Niners? I see what you're saying. Not best ball drafters. That's funny. Coach has got to love the August victory lap before he ever plays a game. I didn't know if you knew, Neil, but I've never made a mistake in August. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, it's even funnier with like Mike Washington victory laps. Like, okay, you just made the bet. Made the bet on the right guy getting hurt. Congrats, I guess. All right, I think no tight ends yet on this team. Jaden Daniels unstacked. This is a pretty obvious one. We're going Chigakonkwo. A little bit past ADP. Yeah, August victory laps are kind of funny just in general. Every like highlight reel catch in a practice. I told you guys. You can't make me JSU. Never in my life will I draft a Dolphin. Except for maybe Chris Bell, maybe Caleb Douglas. Occasionally Greg Dulcich. So I guess I take it back. Occasionally I will. Okay, all right, that's fair. I could add Chris Bell to this team. Actually, this could be a Greg Dulcich ass team. Oh, Jarquez Hunter, I like that call, JSU. I added him to my rankings because he's going to be like 0% owned in this contest. Do I go Flournoy? My wide receivers are pretty good. I think I need more help at tight end, so I'm going to add Hawkinson. Jarquez Hunter's one of that, like, I'm not sure that he's a good pick in a vacuum, but I think he's probably a good pick in this contest because he's been 0% drafted or close to 0% drafted to this point. Like, he's just going to be, there's not going to be a lot of Jarquez Hunter teams. And now he's in a position on the Dolphins where he actually like could score fantasy points if he gets an opportunity. Like, he's supposed to be a pretty like dynamic player. Oh, you took him on the Jacobs in the 6 team. Nice. Yeah, I think he was a good addition to the ranks because these contests he's just not going to be on teams that much. Harry M says, not like he was doing naked Purdy for a month every day. Kittle, then Stribling. Did that because 2 years ago, naked Purdy got me entries in the DK finals, so I ran it back. Both min cashes. I mean, yeah, gotta run pure. Shout out JSU. Even after you get to the finals to make real money. Wow, that's impressive to get 2 teams there. Dolphins wouldn't have traded for him if they weren't positive they were cutting Wright or Gordon. You think so? Oh, that's interesting. I had not considered that they're going to cut one of the other 2. Wow, shots fired at JSU. Is the 51-year handle an homage to your height? Saying our guy's 5'1". Even Big T wouldn't accuse him of being 5'1", I don't think. Although as far as I know, he might be. I have no idea. Okay, no, not 5'1". Not there's anything wrong with that. Can't control it. But I know he's a hooper. Yeah, Ollie did get some bad coach speak. In case you didn't know, there was a 5'3" NBA basketball player. Anything is possible. Muggsy Bogues, for those who didn't watch the NBA in the 90s. All right, we're at 2,652. We just saw Jawan Jennings go, kind of the end of a tier there. Oh, Hunter went at 156, so couldn't play the hits in this one. I'm always looking for Hunter when we get to the late 180s on drafters. Now there are actually a couple Dolphins toward the top of my rankings. I'm gonna go Chris Bell. There you go, JSU. You asked, I delivered. Earl Boykins. How old are you? 70. I assume 79 is your age. So you're not that much older than me, if that's true. Are you making references to Earl Boykins? Yeah, Muggsy. I started shooting hoops again by myself in the gym just this year. It's really fun. 5'7". SpudWeb is 5'7". It's so much more fun to watch somebody dunk if they're short. Like watching the Spud Webb dunk contest, so much cooler than like, oh, look at Shaq dunking on a 12-foot hoop. And it's like, yeah, it's an impressive feat for Shaq to be able to dunk on a 12-foot hoop. But at the same time, it's like he's just jumping up and dunking. It's like, doesn't look as cool as a 5'7" guy flying through the air, doing acrobatic stuff and dunking it. You think Ollie Gordon is dust? Oh no, Boykins came after. Is that true? That is not what I think of Earl Boykins. I think of him as being like a early 80s basketball player. And I'm just wrong, apparently. Yeah, Nate Robinson. He was also in the dunk contest, right? Did he also win? I don't remember ever watching Earl Boykins. And I just assumed it was because he was before the like 90s Bulls run when I watched basketball as much as I could. Dulcich still there. A lot of tight ends I left still. I still like. I'm really in on Ted Hurst. So I'm going to do that. They're saying he's looking good in practice. Ollie to Lions, that could be fun. I mean, any running back that lands with the Lions is gonna rise up boards quite a bit, I think. Because I think, things are not looking great for Pacheco, dealing with a back injury. Already not the most talented running back. They signed somebody else, saying it's kind of done. Maybe not. I mean, who knows? The Lions signed him. Obviously, they see something there. But you get an Ollie Gordon, a Trey Benson to the Lions. I mean, Trey Benson also might just be too hurt to play. I don't know. I removed Trey Benson from my rankings. I saw all the injury doctors saying, don't draft him. He's hurt. Probably not going to play this year. And I finally decided, I guess, I don't need him to be. I had him at like 224 or something. So he was, borderline draftable anyway. But I'm still tempted to take Trey Benson just in case he signs with like the Lions. But probably need some positive injury news there. Well, I did not realize that Trey Benson was hurt when I initially put him in the ranks. I think I had him in my top 240 before he was cut. But the reason is, I listened to some podcasts. I forget even who it was. Might have been the ETE, Establish the Edge podcast, where they were talking about that whole situation and how it was pretty likely that somebody was going to get cut, and it was pretty likely it was going to be Trey Benson because James Conner, maybe that was just my takeaway, that it was pretty likely he was going to be cut by the Cardinals. And there were some underlying numbers suggesting Trey Benson might actually be one of the more talented running backs there, maybe more talented than James Conner or Tyler Algier, by some metrics at least. He was I think 2nd round pick recently. So I was thinking guy could get cut, actually be a talented running back who's on the open market, sign somewhere new, and he'll be in none of the drafts. So I have a few shares of Trey Benson. How is $6 invested in Jacobs on 400 teams and 5% Lloyd? I'd say you're coming out ahead there, because that's not much Jacobs. And if you want to add some now, you can get him at a cheap price. And 5% Lloyd. I don't think he was drafted in every contest early. I might be wrong about that, though. Maybe he was. All right, I always got to save a spot. Every lineup, you save a spot for Charlie Kolar. The haters and the losers are furious. They hate to see you draft Charlie Kolar. And honestly, they might be right. But you got to pick a side in the Charlie Kolar wars. And I am firmly on team Kolar Express. I mean, not just time box. Like even in BBM, nobody's taken Trey Benson. But yeah, I guess more so in the time box where he could have been a big riser later on. Yeah, it was probably wish casting a little bit too much. Let me see how much I actually have, because I don't want to make it sound like I was drafting a ton of Trey Benson. Okay, according to this, that's just drafters. I've got 14 shares, 1%, under 1% exposure, which honestly still might be too much. Mistakes may have been made, but yeah, initially I was taking him not realizing that he was actually hurt. I thought it was more of just the team is, too crowded kind of thing, or that he was I thought it was maybe a more minor injury. Might have been wrong about that. All right, so we are at 2673. So Genty might miss early. Scadaboo. I don't have a ton of week 1 upside, so this might be a spot to add Samaje Perine. I think Samaje Perine might give me some coverage. Another running back who can score early. I've got C-Rod. I don't know. I've got a lot of running backs who could score, but it's going to be hit or miss. So I think getting there with volume on this team makes sense. Dawson Knox goes. This Nightbot thing is fun. You type in a command, it just tells you, gives people the reminder. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Comment if you have thoughts on what to do with the channel, or thoughts on the picks. Want to troll me a little bit, whatever. Comment below the video. stole the Nightbot idea from Davis. I saw it on his stream and I was like, what is that? How does that work? And then 15 minutes before the stream was like, all right, I'm going to add that. I use StreamYard, who aims. What do you use? I thought everybody uses StreamYard. Although I did hear BBG say on the Talk the Tower stream that he does not have StreamYard subscription, so. Oh, it's very popular in gaming. Interesting. How much Ted Hurst? I'll make my pick and then I'll tell you. We're at 2773. We'll add Michael Mayer. There you go. Final team. Oh no, I didn't even think about my week 7 buys. Don't love that in a total points format. We're just taking the 0 at quarterback week 7. That was rookie mistake. I should have added a third quarterback. It could be fine, but if I'm doing really well and the week 7 comes, that's going to be painful. Got Ashton Genty, Cam Scadaboo, Marshawn Lloyd, Chris Rodriguez, Keaton Mitchell, Jonah Coleman, Samaje Perine. Wide receivers are JSN, Drake London, T-Mac, BTJ, Matthew Golden, Chris Bell, and Ted Hurst. Tight end, Chig Okonkwo, TJ Hawkinson, Charlie Kolar, and Michael Mayer. I am the guy adding Elijah Higgins at the end. Getting a little bit unique there. Unique start, unique finish for I am the guy. Jalen Wright. Is this a two-hole maybe assuming that Ollie Gordon's going to get cut and that Jalen Wright might be better than Jarquez Hunter? Xavier Thomas going in this one. Ted Hurst across my full portfolio. Got 19%, 18.5% by fees. I thought I was going to, he would start rising up boards. He has not really yet. He's still pretty free. So no, I don't think I've got any kind of CLV there. Yeah, I've lost one pick of ADP value on Underdog. What do you guys want to do next? This stack is wide receiver drafters exclusive. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Fun fact: this year I had a DFS lineup. Did my show with Scott Barrett. We did Outside the Box on Saturdays last year. He was really into Elijah Higgins, who had awesome usage in the week prior. I forget what week it was, but he had awesome usage. And then he was playing, I think, Cincinnati. I think it was whatever week they were playing the Bengals, if I'm remembering right. And kind of got totally sold on like, this is a smash pick. And he was the min price. And it was also a week that Brock Bowers was. So everybody was playing Michael Mayer at 3,000 or maybe 2,500, the actual min price on DraftKings. I forget. But they were the same price. And I decided I'm going to split my exposure instead of just being with the field at 20% Michael Mayer. I'm going to have 10% Mayer, 10% Higgins, and I had a lineup that got a 0 out of Elijah Higgins. If it had instead had Michael Mayer, would have won $50,000 for first place in whatever contest it was in. That was my worst beat, I think, last year in DFS. Just could have just played the chalk and would have won $50,000. Instead, played the too fancy tight end, and they just didn't play. Like they had played so much Elijah Higgins, and it looked like he was trending up. Great matchup, and then they just went away from Elijah Higgins. That was sad. Started off with Labs, moved to StreamYard because it's easier for guests. Yeah, I think I've never used anything but StreamYard. That's all I know. So, how good are you at poker, Neil? Any big tournament wins? I not extremely good at poker. I did play pretty casually. I guess I got kind of serious about it back in like the poker boom of 2007 or so. After I graduated college, I got recreationally good at it. I think I won a tournament for like $2,000 at the time, which is pretty big money for me at the time. But I'm pretty sure I was a lifetime loser. I never studied how to get good at it. I think I'd be a lot better if I played now and like actually took it seriously, as opposed to like just kind of, trying to figure it out on my own. I don't think I was that great with playing your opponent as opposed to playing the cards that you have. I think I never really got that part of it. So I think I would be better at it now than I was when I was young, but I'm good enough to win in like casual poker games with my friends. I don't think that I think I would crush if I played with poker pros. Noob City, yeah. Have you really been drafting him since February? Yeah. What I don't understand is, so he's mistagged as a wide receiver. Why do you like that? Like, wouldn't you rather have him be tight end eligible? Wouldn't you rather have a wide receiver mistagged as a tight end? Or do you just think he's going to be lower owned because of that? Pour one out for that last drafters draft. I've done it before too, my friend. Is that for me? Are you saying is my team total trash? Oh, because of the week 7. Yeah. Oh, that's what we're talking about. The total noob. Yeah. No, once in a DK Milly. Oh, on yeah. Right. Yeah. I was trying to figure out what you were saying was Noob City. But yeah, very, very sad to have 2 quarterbacks with the same bye week. Okay. Because you can eat a 0 easier. I guess that's fair. All right, let's get into another draft. What do you guys want to do? Should we try this new Frenchy Friday? Do you want to do another drafters? Could do DraftKings Milly. I've got a few of those left. I only have 3 BBMs left, so I guess I'll save those. But I'd be willing to do a underdog Frenchy Friday, $20 draft, drafters main event, drafters survival, or DraftKings Milly Maker. So first person who tells me what you want to do, I'll jump in that draft. Otherwise, I'll just decide myself if nobody has an opinion. DFS says drafters is fun to watch. All right. I could do another drafters. Do you care about main event versus survival? Do we want to try the survival contest? Buy 5, get your 6 free this weekend. Or is it more fun to just watch, what you're used to? All right. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make my slow draft picks, a few of them, just to make sure I don't forget about them. Xavier Worthy. Where did Marshawn Lloyd go in this one? Because I think he would have been recommended if he was here. Maybe not. No, he's still here. Oh, interesting. I wonder if the leg up team has cooled on Marshawn Lloyd, or it's just because I already have 4 running backs on the team. Oh, and I have Josh Jacobs. That's probably why. Probably saying you made the bet on Josh Jacobs not getting suspended already. You don't want Marshawn Lloyd on this team. Interesting. Mike Washington just went at 158 in this eliminator. Would have been nice to get that. All right, what is this? 2, 5, 6, 4. I'm not sure I'm going to do Charlie Kolar here. Those are potentially good enough wide receivers. To get Malik Davis, he'll be low owned, I bet, in the slow puppy. I think I'm going to do that instead. All right, I'm just going to stop there. See where I'm at on these slow picks on drafters. Okay, I've got 4 hours, so we're good with the slow draft picks. So I can get into a draft. DFS wants a $250 draft on drafters. It does not look like that one is that close to filling. Those take a little longer. So I'm going to do maybe just another main event for now, since I've got those rankings ready to go. We need 7 more for this drafters main event. Yeah, Davis is Malik Davis, a fun late round pick. Worthy, you get him at 130 on drafters all the time too. I got one high roller to fill on stream, and then I tried again. I don't think I have 250 in my account, so I have to add money to do it. Are people talking trash on Twitter about our league? Looks like some of the league members, who hames, are talking trash on Twitter. We're talking about something. I see the other Jeff B tagged us in a tweet. Five more for the main event on drafters. It's a $15 draft, and of course, reminder, you can use promo code PlayerQ, get your first deposit matched 100% up to $100, and then take advantage of the survival contest. Draft 5, get 1 free this weekend. So let's see, you're putting in $100 at most. You then have $200 to play with. Use 50 of it. You get 10 back to play with, or another survival contest. It's good value. Basically, you have to put $100 in. You lose 50 for the drafts that you do. I don't know. I'm not going to do the math. It's complicated math. It's really probably not that complicated math. But you're putting $100 in. You're getting 6 drafts. And then you'll still have another 140 to play with. Is that right? 150 to play with. 150 to play with. It's a good deal. I liked my first high roller. I did not like my second high roller. I guess while we're still filling this, let me see if I can find those drafts on Best Ball Explorer real fast. So I'll go to drafts, drafters. Actually, I think I actually did both of these on stream. And one of them I got pretty good ADP value. Let's see if this is the one I like. This is not the one I like. Huh, interesting. So this one I did on stream against Davis Maddock, and JSU was also not streaming it, but was in the draft with us. So I got Jaden Daniels 75, Stafford at 118, Tootin at 46, Mason 94, Chuba 99, Jones, Braylon Allen, Najee Harris at 214. I mean, I got Jamar Chase. Burden at 51 is pretty good. Oh, I got Booty at 219, so that helps. I didn't realize Bryce Lance has moved up this much. Interesting. Oh, and Hawkinson, I got at 195. So yeah, I got good ADP value on this one. Did not feel that great about it while I was drafting it. All right, we still need 3 more for this main event on drafters. But the other one that did not have such great ADP value, I wonder why that is. Let me don't want to find out what went wrong with this team. But this one I had the 101, so obviously love that. We got Drake May, Malik Willis, CJ Stroud, so lost some CLV on both of those. Gibbs, Dave Montgomery, Bashal Tutin, Jonathan Brooks, Isaiah Davis, and James Conner. Feel okay about that running back room. Nico Collins, George Pickens, Michael Pittman, Romeo Dobbs, Travis Hunter. Okay, so we lost some CLV on Travis Hunter, Kayshon Boutte, Caleb Douglas, and Keon Coleman. So we got the Stroud Kayshon Boutte stack by accident. This is before the trade. And then Pitts, Andrews, Schultz. I like this team. It's a fun team. So yeah, they're okay. Need one more for the drafters main event. Amon-Ra Bowers Lab, that's a fun start. Would you rather have Bryce Young against the Bears or Stroud against the Bills, both at home as slight dogs? Stroud, I think. Because Stroud's just going to have to keep throwing and throwing. I don't know. I don't feel great about it. Is this a DFS question? Bryce Young has like more fun weapons overall, probably. Obviously, Nico Collins very fun, but yeah, I think probably Stroud. For DFS, yeah. I'm going to have to look at the price of the stack as a whole. Kind of tough decision to make in a vacuum. All right, we're drafting from the 3-hole. No more I Am the Kai. The rare I Am the Kai free draft on drafters. We still have Chris here at the 97. Cliche Claude at 11. With is that Lana Del Rey avatar? Another Chris. The King Fart. Oh, here's Harry Ham. Okay, what's up, Harry Ham? Anybody else drafting here besides Harry Ham? It's always funny seeing the avatars that people use on drafters. I mean, it's kind of funny on all the sites, but they're a little bit bigger on drafters than like on DraftKings. You can see them a little bit more. I sent a board to my thumbnail guy of a drafters board and realized after the fact that it was the guy from the Coldplay, or the woman from the Coldplay concert. You know, the picture of the guy holding the woman who are having the affair at the Coldplay concert. Somebody uses that as their avatar, except for instead of the man from that picture, it's the coach from Michigan who also got caught cheating on his wife. So just like a big fan of adultery, I guess. I don't know what the thought was, or memes. I'm not sure, but that was an interesting avatar choice for drafters. Yeah, this is total points. By the way, last week I put out a video on how this contest works, some of the strategy points. You can find that if you go to the main page of the Flaniverse YouTube channel. It's just if you click videos instead of live, it's I think the top video there, the most recent video posted, just a 5-minute video explaining the total points format, how it works, some of the little strategy differences here versus if you're playing on like Underdog, DraftKings, the pod formats. Oh, you use the Bitcoin logo. Okay. Yeah, I've definitely seen you. You might not be the only one using it. But I have definitely seen the Bitcoin logo on DraftKings. Here's what you're referring to as mass redraft leagues. That's like FFPC? Is that mass redraft? I don't think I do those either. But I wouldn't refer to the best ball formats as mass redraft. I think it's pretty different. A little bit of a running back run going on here, 7 in a row, which is not that unusual. Genty went at 14 in this one. Bowers goes. I'm always hoping Bowers is going to fall to me. As a bye week, bro, it does feel better getting Chase in the first round because then you can pair him with, as opposed to Puka Nacua, because Puka has that week 11 bye, which overlaps with both Drake London and AJ Brown. Chase, different bye weeks. Just feels better. Already back on the clock here. Let me make my pick. Oh, Malik Neighbors. Third round Malik Neighbors. I thought those days were done. Love to see it. T-Mac, Andrews, and QJ, or Coker, Goddard, and Hampton. Oof. T-Mac, Andrews, and QJ. So I'm almost always just like take the best available player. If it's a 3v3, Hampton, the pretty clear top value in this group. I think that's the answer. I think I would go with the Hampton side. Even though T-Mac, not that far behind, and QJ also playable in most redraft leagues, but yeah, I think I'd still go the Hampton side. Last one is me doing one drafter's worth it or more BBM would be better. I do about 50 drafts. I mean, it's kind of a personal preference thing. I like to spread it out, but I also get if you're doing a bunch of one format, you don't want to learn a new type of format just for one draft. That also, I would get that. I don't think there is a right answer here. What you might want to do is save some of your drafts for the final week to see if there's going to be overlay, because I think there could be some overlay on drafters. There's also some possibility there's overlay on DraftKings. So for me, it might just come down to, do I want to save these? On drafters, it's also like, so the main event is $15. You could do the so the deal, like I said, use promo code PlayerQ if you've never signed up for drafters before. I don't know if you are new to drafters or if you've drafted here before, but it's you deposit, first deposit matched up to $100. So if you're only going to be doing one event this year, one draft this year, I might save it for next year, because I would guess the same promo will be available in the future. So I might save it for when you are going to deposit more money, as opposed to just depositing like $10 personally. And that's, as a drafter's partner, I hate to say it, but I would probably save it for when you are going to deposit more than $10 or whatever, or $7.50 as it were. I assume you can deposit $7.50, but I'd probably save it for when you're going to do more drafts. or deposit more money, I guess, to get more bang for your buck with the promo. Yeah, you could always deposit now, play next year. Harry says, I love this format. Draft the nuts and win, where the other contest turns into a weekly DFS. I mean, yeah, it's I honestly I like kind of diversity in what I'm playing. I do think that it's a really fun format though. Just like you pick the best teams, you don't have to worry about any kind of pod luck or anything. There's beauty in that. There'd be more beauty in it if I was ever competitive in these. I so far have never had a sweat beyond like week 3 in drafters, so hopefully this is my year. I've gotten some teams that I think could be pretty killer this year, but so have a lot of other people. All right, T-Mac falling. I do think I probably need a running back. I've talked about this, so I don't think there are kind of limits to how much I want to do 0 or B on this format. So I'm going to go Dave Montgomery. Just want to make sure you get some of those early season running back points. Somebody scoring for you from week 1. Looks like Jay Shamoon in his first draft in this contest, his or her first draft in this contest. Jacobs at 49. I actually didn't look where Josh Jacobs went in that last contest. I think I'll take the Luther Burden fall. That was another factor for me in pushing not taking T-Mac here, was I thought if I don't take T-Mac, maybe more likely I'll get 5th round Luther Burden. And if both of them went, I would have been fine taking Bucky Irving also. So I don't know. That's one where some drafts I'll just take T-Mac and start 4 wide receivers, but I want to make sure I got one running back with one of those 2 picks. Why did you leave Stochastic? I got laid off. There was, it's nearly 3 years ago, I think at this point. Maybe 2.5 years ago. Got laid off by Stochastic, myself and Adam Scher. So yeah, was not my choice. But did allow me to branch off on my own, so not the worst thing. I see Liam do these. He says stacking not as important. I'd say I agree, less important here in total points for him. I still think like I'd like to stack. I still try to stack because I do think like there are correlated outcomes where, you know, the quarterback and the wide receiver, if the quarterback has a really good year, probably the wide receiver does too. So yeah, there's still like macro big time correlation. But you know, you don't need the week to week correlations as much. And like if Matthew Stafford has an awesome year, and you know that probably means both Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams also had awesome years, but also they're really expensive. So Matthew Stafford could pay off without the receivers being the guy you need from the rounds where they go, where there's other great players also, just like as an example. So I would agree it's a bit less important, but I'd still say I'm always trying to stack. I do think it is still something that, you know, is worth trying to do. Appreciate that. I have not watched Stochastic. I think I watched a couple episodes of Engelman's NBA show last year. But yeah, you know, we went our separate directions, so haven't really been paying close attention to them. I think I honestly don't even know who still works there. I'm pretty sure Lindquist does. I see him occasionally. Greg, I'm sure does. I assume Laffy. Don't know who else is there now. Oh, and Josh, of course. Drake May. First drafters draft and does not get the Drake May, AJ Brown stack. Hate to see it. Now is he going to snipe me? You see that sometimes. One guy gets sniped on their quarterback. They pay it forward. Goes Caleb. Okay. I will take. I guess Caleb could have been mine. So I guess did snipe me. But I was going to go Joe Burrow anyway. I forgot that I had a Bears player. I did not get any. I actually was not able to draft during that period. I was working on the aforementioned drafters explainer video. Was working on that for like 5 hours that Sunday, and like nobody's watched it, sadly. Apparently people didn't need the explainer. So yeah, I was working hard at work on that when the news broke, and then immediately had to leave after that for my first season-long draft of the season. So I just missed the entire period of Genty freefall. But I also, I don't think I was going to be in on the Genty freefall. Okay, this is an interesting one because I do like Godwin in this format quite a bit, but also I only have one running back and 4 receivers. I think I got to go Dowdle here. I think during that period, I would have been targeting Mike Davis more because, Mike Washington more. Part of the reason for the free fall, and obviously you know this, but the reason is because we all thought it sounded like, based on what they were telling us, none of us could see it. All we knew was they took a moment to acknowledge the severity of the situation or whatever it was. And so it sounded like it was kind of like this could be season ending, maybe career ending for Ashton Genty. None of us were thinking he sprained his ankle at the time. So the free fall made sense. I would have been targeting him in the 6th round, I think, which I don't think many people actually got. Yeah, Josh does good basketball analysis for sure. I didn't realize it because I used to watch Josh and Shit My Money did the basketball shows together at Stochastic, and I always thought of Shit My Money as being the basketball guy. That was his thing, his NBA stuff. And he thinks about DFS pretty similar to me. So I was always kind of, tuned in for his analysis. And Josh was usually the host back at that point. So I thought of Ship as being the more knowledgeable basketball guy. And Adam will tell you that no, Josh is the basketball guy. He knows basketball better than Ship My Money, which I did not realize back when they were doing shows together. Adam's way more of a baseball guy, which I also did not realize at the time. Although we did baseball shows. I knew that he knew baseball better than I did. Because thank God, there was a period where I was doing baseball shows by myself in the morning for Stochastic, and it was the worst. I hated doing it so much. But I was asked to. I told them, I don't want to do baseball shows. And then they asked me to do a solo baseball show. So I did it. And parts of the audience enjoyed it because I went over my my process for MLB, which at that point was pretty successful. And then other parts were this is the most boring thing I've ever watched. It became a lot better. I think more entertaining when then Adam joined the show with me, and then I got to be just the host and ask him questions. That was better format for MLB DFS. A Pat Mayo fan. Not in the sense that I consume a lot of his content. I consume some Pat Mayo content. He's a entertaining guy. He's a, what's the word I'm looking for? Understands himself, understands his appeal, or his the value that he brings versus like doesn't consider himself to self-aware. That's the word I was looking for. He's very like self-aware that he's not like the biggest ball knower in the world, and readily admits that, which I appreciate. Which is honestly, I think, also similar to myself, where I don't pretend to be like the biggest like football knower in the world. Like I think I know it well enough to do well at fantasy football games, but I don't know like the ins and outs of every team's coaching staff and all that kind of stuff, or like the playbooks that teams are going to run. All right, we'll go Bill here. He's out of control in a good way. Yeah. I mean, he's an entertainer. That's what he's there to do. Does a good job of it. And like brings on, sharp guess. Just talked about how I'm really out on Courtland Sutton. And now, do I really need to draft Courtland Sutton? Could go like Jackson Dart instead, because I've got Neighbors. You know what? Yeah, I'm just going to do that. We're doing Jackson Dart. Different bye week this time. Because I don't think Bo Nix, if Bo Nix makes it to 118, I might regret that pick, but part of the issue is that I think I just straight up prefer Casey Concepcion to Courtland Sutton, just as one example. Harry takes him. There's our believer. There you go, Harry. You're welcome. He's a good value in the 100s. I think probably just objectively that's a strong pick. You saw in my ranking. He was top of my rankings. Can Michael Wilson have another good year? Yeah, that's a situation I struggle with in kind of a big way, because yeah, I think he can. Like I think he balled out last year. A lot of us, myself included, I'm like more in on Marvin Harrison this year, and that's one where I think I could look foolish. Like I certainly, like I'm not taking a huge stand because I don't feel super confident in Marvin Harrison. I've talked to some ball knowers who are really in on like, yeah, Michael Wilson, just like everybody wants to bet on the Marvin Harrison pedigree because he came in, they spent all this money on him. He was supposed to be so good. But at this point, we've actually seen Michael Wilson be what they wanted Marvin Harrison to be. So why would they go back and shove the ball to Marvin Harrison when Michael Wilson has been that dude for that team? And he's had like the clear connection with Jacoby Brissett. So yeah, I think he definitely can have another big year. I am underweight for sure. I've probably taken him more on drafters than either of the other sites. Let me actually look at that. So overall, Michael Wilson exposure. Man, that's even lower than I thought I was on Michael Wilson. Thank you. Yeah, and you can see here, I have 16% on drafters, 2% on Underdog, 0% on DraftKings. Part of the reason for all this is Drafter is the one site where I'm not using the sidekick. So like he's higher in my ranks than he is in the leg up ranks, obviously. He's just a big unknown to me. He's honestly kind of similar to Parker Washington that way, where it's like could be really good. Like we have seen it, and like I understand like why not just bet on the guy that you've seen it from already, as opposed to just like, all right, we'll bet on pedigree with BTJ, with Travis Hunter. Just do the guy who was awesome last year. Bo Nix makes, I feel like I'm being trolled. Bo Nix makes it all the way back right after I said I'll feel foolish if he does. All right, what are we doing here? Marshawn Lloyd at 118. I think that's probably the pick. Yeah, we'll do that. Torstar with the goldfish avatar. Are you here, Torstar? What's the thought process behind the goldfish avatar? Are you just like a big fan of goldfish? Do you work for Pepperidge Farms? All right, let's see. I was kind of hoping Kittle would make it back, so that's a bummer. Could go Kelsey. Oh, Debo's there. I do like Debo a bit. I feel like people have really soured on Debo based on like he's been practicing more at running back apparently. I don't know. I think Debo knows the offense fairly well. Looked like he's in shape. Olave and Swift or Nico and Monty for DFS. Yeah, it's good point by 44 Bull. Swift has Kyle Monunga out week 1, we're assuming. Sounds like so the Bears are playing the Panthers based on what you said, the Bryce Young question. I don't know all of the matchups here, but I think I lean toward the Olave Swift side. As of right now. But, hang out for the next few weeks. You'll get all my DFS analysis. It'll be more well thought out week 1 of the season when I actually look at this stuff closer. Yeah, I mean, some players, it just makes sense to fade on one site, play a lot on the other site. There are some who are better on PPR sites. Some that are better on full, total points formats like drafters. There is a chance that Kamanunga will be back, which again, that's why I don't dig into DFS that much in, almost 2 weeks before the season starts. I'll have a better answer for you in a week and a half. But right now, it's looking like Monunga is going to be out. By the way, if anybody is not already in the Flanovers Discord, it's free to join. I just posted the link in chat. There are some channels that'll be behind the paywall. They're not really in use right now very much. Hoping to use them a little bit more during the season. But all the places where people actually talk right now are free in the Discord. Eventually, they'll be behind the $5 YouTube subscription paywall. Is that Monunga has a hyperextended knee? That's interesting. That's what Jamar Chase had in practice the other day, and he was fine immediately. Really depends on severity. I think as soon as this draft ends, I'm going to immediately jump into a Frenchie Friday because I need to walk my dog at 4:30. So if you want to draft with me in the next one, I'll be doing, again, Frenchie Friday. All right, what do we need here? We have 2450. Woody Marks is here. Khalil Shakir is still here at 142. That's tempting. I'll go Shakir. I do have a really strong top 3 receivers, though. Top 4, honestly. Then it starts getting a little bit shakier, but Mark Andrews goes. I've got Montgomery. Do I want Montgomery and Woody Marks on the same team is the question. It's probably fine. I think it's fine in this situation. I'm tempted to go Coleman instead, but I think this is enough of a fall for Woody Marks. David says, Swift turned into a pick over the summer who I regret being light on. Seems so obvious now. Monungai isn't very good anyway, and Ben Johnson brought him over from Detroit. Was solid last year. Yeah, I mean, it is way more obvious now with Monungai being out. Like, I agree. Monungai isn't like... I kind of liked Swift already for the reasons you said, because I think he's a better talent than Monungai. But they were splitting time last year, so I think it was valid to have had Swift in the 5th round prior to the Monungai injury. And he moved up a little bit, which I think is also correct. So I don't know. Like I liked him as a 4 or 5 turn pick. I like him now as a mid 4th pick. But I also, with Monungai there, like there was a big question mark because they had been splitting carries. The team clearly does still also like Monungai, so it was kind of a split. So I don't know. Like I agree. Yeah, I would regret being light on it, but I don't think it was necessarily like a judgment error. I think it was more just like things went the wrong way for the fade. Mr. Big Jimmy says Swift was there before Ben Johnson. Is that true? Because they had previously been on Detroit together. Yeah, he was there, wasn't he? I think that's right. Oh, it was the year before, yeah. You're heavy on Zach Charbonnet. I mean, honestly, Zach Charbonnet has been like, we've gotten positive news on Zach Charbonnet from, I initially thought he was going to be back like week 12, and now they're talking about him like maybe he'll be back in the first few weeks of the season. I mean, they keep saying week 1. I have my doubts, but yeah, I agree. Swift is a really strong pick at this point. All right, we're at 2560. I think I'm going to go Hunter Henry. Not the most exciting pick, but don't have a tight end yet. For this channel, you think Swift thumbnail soon? All right, Tyrone Tracy at 169 now. I pushed Dylan Sampson at that last turn thinking I wouldn't mind getting Emmett Johnson instead, but I really do like Dylan Sampson in this format. Full PPR. Standalone value, a team that's going to probably have to throw a lot with their defense getting worse this year. As the pass catching back, and then also continued upside if anything happens to Quinshon Judkins. I think 171 is just too cheap for Dylan Sampson. I love this type of bet where it's like standalone role. It's actually similar to Woody Marks and potentially Marshawn Lloyd, where it's like, yeah, he's the pass catcher. He's going to have double-digit point weeks, regardless, I think. And then he'll also have awesome continued upside if the starter goes down. Which is, I think, different than Emmett Johnson, Braylon Allen, who actually I like both of those picks also, but I think the standalone role probably worse. Although I will say Braylon Allen, if you listen to the ship chasing show from last night, Crack Rock, who has inside info sometimes because he talks with various people associated with various teams, was saying that somebody associated with the Jets told him, be wary of Braylon Allen's effect on Breece Hall, because the team is really liking what they're seeing from Braylon Allen right now. So maybe he does have a standalone role. We'll see. Did you? Come on, man. Don't start cursing my guys. I wish I would have gone with my gut and just never clicked Kamununga. He was just so cheap. I was also clicking a lot of Kamununga. And then I bought the dip for a while, and then it's been a while since I've really bought much. But you're the original Jacoby. I wish you had found this channel earlier, 40 Bull, 44 Bull, because I was foolish and not, even when Jacoby Lane, like he would show up on the sidekick in round 20, and I'd be like, I think I'd rather just take Elijah Surratt. They're talking about him being the big slot. And yeah, Jacoby Lane has moved way up. I mean, I'm still not totally sold, but he's definitely at the point where, like, yeah, if he was ever available past round 15, I'd be taking him every draft. So yeah, I wish you had told me about Jacoby Lane instead of all the influencers. I don't think my viewership is high enough to, include myself in that list. We've got a 2-6-6-1 build right now. Joe Burrow, Jackson Dart, David Montgomery, Rico Dowdle, Ja'Cory Krusky-Merritt, Marshawn Lloyd, Woody Marks, Dylan Sampson at running back, at wide receiver, Jamar Chase, Drake London, Malik Neighbors, Luther Burden, Deebo Samuel, Khalil Shakir, and then just Hunter Henry at tight end. All right. Yeah, I guess AJ Barner, or no, wait, let's see. I think Jawan Jennings, more of a tier break there. So I'm going to go Jawan Jennings. Pick 190 Jawan Jennings is kind of crazy to me, and it's available a lot on drafters. Like I was not a bull at pick 150 when Jawan Jennings was there regularly. I think people have lost the plot. Like he's still the wide receiver 3 on the Vikings who has shown a lot of upside in fantasy. I think he's a pretty good pick. All right, now we'll go. AJ Barner does also have the same buy as Hunter Henry. I think that's fine. I'll add another tight end or two. Who says Bateman's still the clear wide. That's the other thing I was doing, was taking Bateman when the psychic suggested Jacoby Lane. The team keeps referring to Bateman as a wide receiver too. Yoash Huhaim's on the Nice and Blunt channel. Both of them, my competitors in this this new Iron Throne League. I honestly was not very familiar with Nice and Blunt, but he seems like a sharp guy since I've started seeing his stuff a little bit more. Bateman, yeah, the legal trouble. I will say the team has known about it since June, and they've been referring to Bateman as a wide receiver 2 since June. So it does not seem to me like the team is inclined to punish him for anything. We've got a doctor and a professor in chat saying that the Bateman legal stuff is probably going to amount to nothing. And no, I've never seen Who Hames put his hand in front of his face. Talking about the John Cena thing. Is that what we're doing? As a non-wrestling guy, I like only sort of get it. That's right. I do know the DR. That's funny. I should have known that, but I've always called you Dr. the Professor, unless I call you David. But it did not occur to me that those are just your initials. Who is a legit AI creation? I knew he was too beautiful to be real. We're at 2672. Gunnar Helm went. Would have been a fun fall. Fernando Mendoza probably does not make sense for this team. All right. Got to get my guy, Kohler Express. You guys drafting any of the late round Cincinnati receivers? I have not taken a single share of Yoshi or Colby Young, whatever his name is. I think I'm more inclined to take one of the tight ends if I add to my Burrow stack. Who says one share? Yeah, I'm going to add on Gesicki, I guess. I'll add on Gesicki. Sometimes I do Eric Gall. That's funny. I never created the name to sound like a doctor or a professor, but now looking at it, sounds kind of pretentious. I never thought it was pretentious. It's impressive. It's an impressive name. You just stack with Eric All. Piran, that's good stack also. Are you also in on Dylan Sampson? I've got him 15 spots ahead AP in my ranks, I believe. I think he goes one. Actually, no. I think I looked recently, and he goes closer to 160. He used to be around pick 170, and I've got him 155. 2674. The Samson vibes in camp are good. I mean, he was pretty good, like at least as a pass catcher last year. We saw the big play potential at the very least. Or we saw a couple of big plays at least from Dylan Sampson last year. And he just, first game of the season, got there on like 8 receptions, something ridiculous like that. I got a little bit nervous when they started talking about Quinshon Judkins could be more involved as a pass catcher. He could be a 3-down back, all that kind of stuff. Might have even said a 4-down back now that I'm thinking about it. I forget what they said. But I think Dylan Sampson's got a role. Yeah, this is where I'm at also. I draft a little bit of Trey Tucker. I draft like none of Naylor. Really don't know what I need here. Let's see. Is Pirine still there? I could go Seth McGowan, I suppose. Looks like Pirine went. Yeah, I'll take the upside swing on McGowan. It's a 2-7-7-4 build. Quarterbacks are Joe Burrow, Jackson Dart. Running backs, Dave Montgomery, Rico Dowdle, Ja'Cory Krusky-Merritt, Marshawn Lloyd, Woody Marks, Dylan Sampson, Seth McGowan. Wide receivers, Jamar Chase, Drake London, Malik Neighbors, Luther Burden, Deebo Samuel, Khalil Shakir, and Juwan Jennings. Tight ends, Hunter Henry, AJ Barner, Charlie Kolar, and Mike Gesicki. All right, I'm jumping right into the final draft of the stream. We're going to be doing a Frenchie Friday on Underdog. Frenchie 14. $20 entry. There is 0 rake. $50 to first. We need 5 more to fill it. Is a 4-down back when he's on the punt team? Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's what they meant. With the Browns, you would think so. At the end of the day, the Browns' touchdown total will be low. Give me the cheapest piece with an actual roll. Yeah, I guess that's him. All right, we got the number 3 pick back-to-back. We got a no badge to our left in the 2-hole. 7-hole has no badge. 8-hole no badge. 11-hole. Sometimes you get in these rooms in late August and it's like 8 no badges. You know, that's the dream. This is fine. A lot of newbies. They still could be good. You never know. Or they could be wild cards. Oh no, you're a no badge? Which one are you? I did not see your name. Let me look through the name, see if I can figure it out. Whalers, Austin Reed, Joey Pigeon, Spearfish. I got Spearfish and Huge Fish. I don't know. Are you Whalers? Which one are you? None of these look like your name in chat. Listen, I did not no badge you. I simply pointed out that there's no badge on your icon up here. It's not my decision. It's like if you're a rookie, you're a rookie. I call you rookie. That's not an insult. That's just a fact. Oh, you're Spearfish. Okay. Nice. Well, you're at the other side of board for me, so we won't get in each other's ways too much, I bet. Looks like a pretty standard draft so far. Walker at 11. There you go. There's our no badger. Kenneth Walker at 11. Are you a huge Kenneth Walker guy? Are you a Chiefs fan? Are you concerned at all about this injury? Because I got Kenneth Walker today with some unique combos. He's been falling a little bit. I have I think a fair amount of Kenneth Walker. Let's actually look. As it's coming back to me. Portfolio. Yeah. I guess not a ton. 9.4% exposure. Under 8% fees. Also, is this true? This can't be right. I have this little Kenneth Gainwell. I did not know that I have so little. Wait, is he? Maybe it's Kenny on. That's okay. That's why. Kenny some sites, Kenneth some sites. Still not a ton. Oh, you just want more. I get it. Whoam says I might be wrong. I'm basically fading or semi-fading Barkley and HN and just stocking up on everyone else. I'm doing the same with HN, but I like Barkley quite a bit. There we go. Brock Bowers. I think the new offense, maybe more usage with no AJ Brown. I think Barkley could have a pretty big year. David says the new badge structure is strange and it includes daily drafts in all sports. So you could have a person with a diamond who has little knowledge of football or even best ball. That is true. But the inverse is not true. Somebody with no badge, you can be pretty confident that they have not done a lot of drafts on Underdog. Now, obviously, you've got Spearfish is an example of he clearly knows football, knows best ball. He's just doing it on DraftKings. But it's a different landscape. So like he'll be used to a different ADP landscape on DraftKings, potentially. You're just banking on, I think that's, yeah, Barkley could have an awesome season and still just not be a player that helps you in the playoffs with Houston and the Rams on the menu. Knock all those teams out before the final. I err on the side of not worrying enough about week, like the playoff weeks, just like kind of assuming we think we know who's going to be awesome as far as like the defenses, who's going to have great matchups. It's hard to know in August which defenses are going to hold up because injuries have a pretty big impact on which defenses are actually really strong, obviously. And there's just volatility year to year. We think there's continuity. Of course, this defense is going to be great again, and then a lot of the time they're not. So I put less weight on it than most, and probably less than I should even. But I get it. Those are the big money weeks. Whoams, I'm not sure if I've heard your Eagles take. There's a good chance I have, but I consume so much content. Refresh my memory. What is your Eagles take? Is it just the schedule, or is there more to it than that? Stoutland being replaced by the Minnesota bum is bad, and they are old on O-line. Last year had some injuries. Also, after years of tush push, I think they have a high chance to get broke down again also. Wait, who is the Minnesota bum that went to the Eagles? This is fun. You got Kenneth Walker, Chase Brown, Zay Flowers, Tedero McMillan. That is kind of fun. Got that week 17 correlation. Flowers and Chase Brown. All right. I'm not super high on Scadaboo. Oh, this is gross. Josh, even David Montgomery went. And I've got had Josh Jacobs at the top of my queue. So I loved my first 3 picks. I am lower on Cam Scadaboo. But yeah, was not loving my options there. I guess I could have pulled up like Bucky Irving. Man, Josh Jacobs at the top of the queue. 5th round, Josh Jacobs. Is it worth it? Probably. Offensive line coordinator. Yeah, I think that you're given. I mean, maybe he is bad, but the whole offensive line was injured. Like they had no continuity in that offensive line. The entire it was already like an all new offensive line, and then they just all kept getting hurt. I mean, Darisaw was hurt most of the year. The center was hurt. The whole offense. At one point, I don't think a single offensive. It's probably not right, but felt like almost the entire offensive line was hurt for some period of time. And that's like they mix and match most of the season. I mean, that's one of the big things that like offensive line rankers say is like a big part of an offensive line being good is just continuity, just the same players playing together, getting used to each other. Chemistry on the offensive line pretty impactful. So I don't know. I don't know that it's his fault. You can have a plan for, one offensive lineman going down, couple offensive linemen going down. But man, when they're all getting hurt, like how do you even prepare for that? All right, I'm going to take off this overlay so we can see more of the draft board. Yeah, Vikings did let him go. Eagles thought it was probably not his fault. We'll find out. Jalen Hurts at 67 to the Devonta Smith drafter. But that's seems more reasonable than when he's going at pick 90. Some drafts. Yeah, we could be at the start of a QB run. Jonathan Brooks at 68. Love to see it. All right. I'm going to go Joe Burrow instead of Jaden Daniels. I've got much bigger Jaden Daniels bags and a Jamar Chase team. I'll go second on the sidekick. suppose part of that suggestion might be like you could maybe get both. Could have gone Jaden Daniels and then Joe Burrow, more likely to come back because, you know, people usually want to stack Joe Burrow, whereas they don't care as much with Jaden Daniels. QJ at the 6-7 turn again. Falcor goes Gibbs and then 6 straight wide receivers. Doing a nice anchor RB build. All right, we'll do the 2 quarterback turn, which I love. I love doing 2 quarterbacks here at the 6-7 turn. It's such a gross range other than the quarterbacks. So getting 2 who could potentially be your entire quarterback room always feels really good. Could you rate my redraft team? Put it in chat. Tell us the specs. How many teams? Is it PPR? Anything unique about it? I will say a better grader than myself would be Fantasy Points has a suite to grade your drafts. And you get it at even the most basic level at Fantasy Points. It's pretty cool. 10-man redraft with Drake May, Jonathan Taylor, Kenneth Walker, JSN, AJ Brown, T-Mac, and Fan. I mean, that's an A. That's like, I guess it's 10-man, so maybe I'm difficult to account for 10-mans, but no, yeah, that's, you did good. That's, let's see, you've got like 2 first rounders, 2 second rounders, arguably in a 10-man league. Top 3 quarterback. T-Mac is like a late 4th, early 5th rounder in that format. Fannin, you know, late tight end for that format, but like a lot of upside. All right, RJ Harvey, the suggestion. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, that looks good. He's top my ranks. Top of the sidekick. My ranks are not super updated, so I guess not that meaningful, but I can trust the sidekick. Justin Herbert made all the way back to 93. That's fun. I feel like Xavier Worthy's falling so much. I'm not sure that I need to go for him here. I'm tempted to go Chuba or something else. I'm going to go Chuba. Second on the sidekick again. You would have gone Worthy or Stribling? Oh, you're okay. Am I blowing up your spot? I thought you were suggesting them to me. I was gonna pull up the fantasy points tool that I'm referring to, the fantasy points front office, which will show you like how good your team is, how it rates it. And I only have 2 teams in there right now because I've only done 2 of my drafts. The Iron Throne League, the league that I'm in with Huhames, it gives me the second best odds. Okay, so Stribling went. That's unfortunate. I would have suggested Stribling, but I think Worthy also a good pick there. Yeah, Austin got you. You could go Kittle. Just warning, there's a chance I will if you don't, but not necessarily. I already have a tight end, I guess. Huhames, it gives you it gives me the second best odds of winning the title after the Warriors, which I don't know who that is. Gives you the 5th best odds out of 14. So it doesn't hate it. Oh, you're anti-Kittle. I don't want to pull it up because I know the commissioner of that league is going to put out a video about the draft. So I don't want to spoil it for people. I would have liked Casey Concepcion there. Not gonna lie, I'm not super high on Aaron Jones. That's one where I always go against the sidekick. I do like Rashad White. Still only 2 wide receivers on the team, but they are Jamar Chase and Drake London. Got Bowers. I like Kincaid a little bit, but I do have Bowers, so I'll go second on the sidekick for like the 4th time. It's the 3rd or 4th time I've gone second on the sidekick. Very tempted to go Kincaid there, or Kittle. What's up, Wilson? I think it's Hartman was Warriors. I don't remember the team names. You think Kittle is going to end up hurt again because he plays so hard? Could be. We both upset the same person in the draft. Good. Nothing better than upsetting somebody in your draft. Nice, you got Debo added on to your Brock Purdy stack. That's fun. Wilson, I've got Drake London in the 3rd round, 2 drafts in a row. I'm sure you'd love that as a Falcons fan. Chase, Bowers, London. Beautiful start. And then we took on some risk with Cam Scadaboo, Josh Jacobs. Mike Washington at 135. I think I like taking that shot on Mike Washington. Again, I was not super in on him, but I think at this point with the big unknown that is Ashton Genty, I think I'm willing to pay the new price, which is I think 120s on other sites. Yeah, the quarterback situation is admittedly pretty gross. Is this the price for Travis Hunter still? I need to see by ADP. Yeah, Denzel Boston has the same bye week. Not really high on Tucker. Man, it's gross. I'm going to go Keenan. I feel like I have better odds of getting both of them if I push Hunter. Because people, maybe it's different on, maybe underdog drafters are still in on Travis Hunter. I have not been doing as much drafting here recently, but I feel like everywhere else he's dropping and dropping. So I'm willing to risk it by pushing him a little bit. Yeah, the ADP is 160 now. I could probably get him at the next turn. Those are just a lot of wide receivers I like at this point. Is it frozen? Okay, he goes Denzel Boston. I want to pull up Chig, get a stack for Jaden Daniels. Now you'll see that I just clicked away from Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter is the top click. I clicked away from it twice as a player that I've been talking about how much of a great bet he is all summer. I'm a fan of Travis Hunter in best ball this year. But I thought about putting out a video on this because the price has been going down on Travis Hunter, and I want to adjust to how other people are drafting. So I've been pushing Travis Hunter down my board, trying to get him cheaper and cheaper prices. And also, yeah, I think it makes some sense because he's been practicing with the defense. But I also think part of the reason to push Travis Hunter now as opposed to June, part of the reason I am more willing is I like some of the other bets at wide receiver now. So like if I don't get Travis Hunter to come back to me, that used to be a big thing because the wide receivers going after him just felt so gross to me. Whereas now it's like a lot of the wide receivers in this next round are still wide receivers that I really like. So I think the fact that we have a little bit more information on other wide receivers makes me more willing to push it and not just do Travis Hunter every draft. Yeah, it's like 15-10 on DK. Spellkowski, he says, I've gotten him literally past 200 on drafters. So yeah, if he's fallen, then all right, he goes. But again, that's like, I would have taken him. I would have taken him at this next turn, but I'm not like heartbroken because I see just on the Sakic right now, those three names. I like all three of those names. I think there's like 5 others that I'd be okay with. And we've gotten kind of varied information about what his actual contingent upside is, or the so like I had been buying into fully he's got 3 paths to contingent upside, major contingent upside at wide receiver if any of the other receivers get hurt. The latest thing that I read, which again I've heard different things, well, at least one source is saying he's not going to be taking if Jacoby Myers misses time with his current injury, it won't be benefiting Travis Hunter on offense, which does concern me, because I was like, okay, if he has 3 paths to major contingent upside, then I think he's an awesome pick. If he really is just limited to 1 or even 2, takes away some of the odds of hitting the contingent upside, which I don't love. I'm going to go Pat Bryant. I feel like Pat Bryant has better PR currently than Omar Cooper. Similar to Omar Cooper, Travis Hunter, two players I've drafted a lot of. I feel like the PR has been bad recently, so you can just get them a little bit cheaper. And here we go, Omar Cooper, 171. Your tight end week. Dalton Schultz is honestly just underpriced after the Jaden Higgins injury. Schultz and Kelsey, I mean, you need Kelsey to stay healthy, obviously, but I think you're okay. Add one more on. I mean, I would probably add one more on, maybe 2. But I think you got a strong core. Who says, I stopped clicking Pat Bryant because I have bags and bags, but I think I'm just going to double and triple down. Yeah. Stay the course. Come on. Diamond hands with me here. These exposures look way worse. Oh, because I only have 3.4% on drafters. The price has gone up. So I guess I'm a fraud. I just told you to keep your diamond hands, keep buying, and I only have 3.4% on drafters, where I've been doing a lot of my drafts recently. We got just under 20% on Underdog. Some nice ADP CLV there. 28% Pat Bryant on DraftKings, with an average pick of 214.6. One of my better CLV picks. Shout out Gretsch. He was your most drafted player? That's pretty nice. David, what's your reasoning? David says, I think I'm finally buying in on the potential for Cyrus Allen to have a real role. I feel like I've grown more cautious about it. I think he might just be like the Rashee Rice backup, or I don't know. I guess I don't really know what to make of Cyrus Allen. You had 33% after 110 DK. That's pretty sweet. And Jawan Jennings here. Surprised to see how out the sidekick is on Jawan Jennings. I think I'm going that direction. He was like 6th there. I thought for sure that the sidekick would love him at 190. %, still not bad. Jeremy Bernard, rushing touchdown yesterday. Wheels up. All right, one more pick until the end of the stream. Got to go walk my dog. He's going on an adventure after I walk him, so I gotta get that done right quick. Yeah, he was like literally 20th round. Bryce Tett better pay off. I don't have that much of Bryce Young, I'll say. Who says, my feeling on Cyrus as a Kansas City guy is what everyone is saying. They say he can beat man. We haven't had anyone able to beat man since Tyreek Hill, but I still don't know if he actually can, so clear path. Yeah. David says, Rice doesn't look fully healthy to me. Worthy has proved to be fragile. Kelsey was consistent, but another year older. And then Taekwon is technically wide receiver 3, but plays a limited role. Yeah, I mean, he could. Cyrus could step into an immediate role. I do have him on my one dynasty team. I drafted Cyrus Allen. Feeling good about that. And Davis Maddock is in the league. So doubly, if Cyrus Allen becomes him, then I'll be able to sell him for a king's ransom, I'm sure. Yeah. Sooner or later, the annually hyped Kansas City hyped receiver will pay off. 3-4-7-4. Okay. Yeah, it's not classic, but after using the sidekick as much as I've used it, I've learned that sometimes the builds don't look pretty and it's still effective. Still could be a very plus EV team. So I wouldn't sweat it. All right, Darnell Washington. I assume the Kohler Bear must have gone for him not to be the suggestion. Yeah, he went at 200. Joey Pigeon got him. All right, I'm already late, so I got to get moving. I'll read off the team and then get out of here. So the final team is Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels at quarterback. Running backs are Cam Scatterbu, Josh Jacobs, RJ Harvey, Chuba Hubbard, and Rashad White. Wide receivers Jamar Chase, Drake London, Romeo Dobbs, Keenan Allen, Pat Bryant, Omar Cooper, Juwan Jennings, Jeremy Bernard. Tight ends Brock Bowers, Chika Okonkwo, and Darnell Mooney. Again, sorry, I'm kind of got to rush out of here, but if you haven't done so, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the free Discord, link in description of the video. Thanks, everybody. I'll be back soon. Maybe I'll stream tomorrow. Otherwise, I'll be back Monday at the latest. I'll see you soon. Thanks, guys.